Hello, my name is Pilar Rivera. I come from Seville, and I'm currently contracted here at the UPF as tenure track professor. Well, actually, I was awarded with this position because this is a competitive position. You have to apply. My background is highly multidisciplinary. I studied clinical pharmacy in Seville, then I moved to Germany and I did my PhD in molecular pharmacology, but more related to molecular biology techniques. And then I got a position in the Institute of Physics in Marburg an der Lang in Germany too, to work in a material science laboratory. That is where I get in contact with nanotechnology. And then I was contracted as a lecturer there also in the institute. And during this period, I also began to do the habilitation, which is another degree above the PhD in the Institute of Pharmaceutical Technology, where I combine the knowledge acquired in the PhD and in the postdoc, meaning that I combine the nanotechnological approach with molecular pharmacology. And this is the combination of these different expertise is it's actually what we are doing here in our lab, in our integrative biomedical materials and nanomedicine lab. To the question of what is nanomedicine? Nanomedicine is to solve or can be described as solving clinical challenge or medical problems with nanotechnology. So nanotechnology is a science that in theory is not that new. So it can be related to colloidal chemistry, which is a branch of chemistry. But it became aware in the middle of last century because of the development of new instrumentation or of new techniques that allows us to observe the matter in the nanoscale. So that is when, for some people, nanotechnology become aware for the society by the development of these techniques and in which the matter could be observed in the nanoscale, and by the applying new concepts that were being developed in science before, this all merge together, and that could be the origin of nanotechnology as we know nowadays. Although, as I said at the beginning, nanotechnological effects and concepts can be seen in the nature and in the times of the Romans. Concerning the challenge that nanomedicine solves, there are many different challenges that can be solved with the help of nanotechnology, but where the clinical field can profit from nanotechnology, where they can profit more from nanotechnology, is by solving a specific challenge like encapsulation. So nanotechnology can provide carriers in the nanoscale that can encapsulate existing drugs that are in the market, and these carriers, they have specific functions that can improve the therapeutic activity of the drug. So this is one of the fields in which nanotechnology can provide some solution to clinical challenge by encapsulating the drug and bringing this drug more efficiently to the diseased area. The other field where nanotechnology can bring innovative solutions is in the field of targeted therapy, by creating strategies to direct the drug into a specific tissue, into a specific area. This is called targeting. So we can play or we can modify the material in the nanoscale so that it directs the drug or the biomolecule that needs to be targeted. so that the carrier brings this biomolecule, this drug, into the target tissue. So encapsulation, targeting are two branches, are two challenges in medicine that can be solved by nanotechnology. The other branch is in diagnosis, because again, by designing the material in the nanoscale, you can design a sensor or contrast agents that are more efficient than current existing solutions. So these are the three main branches in medicine or fields in medicine where nanotechnology can offer a solution: encapsulating a drug, targeting the drug to a specific tissue, and by designing new contrast agents for morphological diagnosis. Why I choose the PRBB? Well, I didn't choose the PRBB. I applied to a call for tenure track positions here in the DSEX, in the Department of Experimental and Health Sciences. Because I was in Germany, and I applied to a Ramon y Cajal position, which is from the ministry. It's also a competitive call. I got it. I moved to Tarragona, but as a Ramon y Cajal, you are expected to be a PI already, a principal investigator, but it's not always like that. So that's why during my Ramon y Cajal stay, after 1 or 2 years, I don't remember, I applied to this call as a tenure track professor in order to gain independence. So in order to be a principal investigator. And the UPF is, I think, one of the pioneers university in this regard. I don't think there are many universities offering positions like that one in tenure track, in which they provide the opportunity to young researchers to get independent. Of course, it's a competitive call, and you get it based on curriculum and on merits, but I find it very interesting, the idea of developing your own ideas, being independent, applying for grants, and managing your own research group. So this is the main reason why I applied for that. But it goes also in agreement. So this pioneer idea of creating this tenure track program, which I repeat it again, I think is pioneer in Spain. It also goes in alignment with the mentality of this department, or I think the university, to change the model of research in the university. So they have the idea of making excellence in the research, and this goes in alignment with this tenure track program, but it goes also in alignment with other initiatives that this department has. That promote this excellence in science and innovation as well. This was also another point why I like this position, because this university also promotes it's a value, it's an asset for this university to promote innovation, so that our research goes to the society, and this is important for me too. In our lab, we have different research lines, but they are all related with the same idea, which is to design a nanomaterial based on the medical application. So this is our core basic thinking. Our core idea is we identify a clinical need, and we design a material that can solve this challenge. Of course, this is based on my expertise, and we have 3 main projects. One is more basic research, and this is dedicated to the design of a sensor to diagnose analytes that are related to disease, and the readout of this sensor, and this is the novelty of this research, is Raman. So it's not like other readouts that sensors normally have, like electrochemistry or fluorescence. The readout of this sensor is the Raman signal. The Raman spectrum is also an optical readout, but it's based on Raman. And why we selected this readout, because it's more accurate and more specific to the analyte. So Raman or SERS, surface enhanced Raman scattering, that is the Raman signal provided by a Raman recorder when it's attached to a nanostructure. This kind of readouts allows you to detect analytes that are related to some imbalances, to some disease, at lower concentration than other techniques, and more specifically. So there are no crosstalk with other analytes. So this is one research line that we are developing here, which is more basic science. And then we have two translational projects. One is called NanoTarc and the other is called Nanolux. So Nanolux is a more industrial project. It's not that related to nanomedicine directly, or the field of application that we are more innovating now, more translating to society now, is more industrial and not medical, but it could apply to some medical problems. So Nanolux is dedicated to use, or we have designed and patented a nanoparticle that can be used to trace product. These nanoparticles are used to label some products so that we can identify the product. So it's against counterfeiting. And this kind of ink or label based with nanoparticles, it can be attached or it can be used with different products, like for example luxury goods. It can be in paintings, but also in medical devices, in prostheses and implants. In any product that it's a bit exclusive, because it doesn't work for big amount of product, but it needs to be somehow exclusive. And with this labeling, we can trace them and we can identify in an accurate manner. So this idea is one of the more translational ideas that we are developing. And the other one is called NanoTarc. And NanoTarc is to design a nanomedicine for pancreatic cancer. We decided to focus on this idea based on previous results that I got in the lab, which is that we identified me and my collaborator here in the DFX, we identified a marker that is expressed only in the tumor tissue. And this, together with the fact that we have a nanocapsule that we can load with a drug to treat this tumor, then we can direct this nanocapsule to the pancreatic tumor. So we have developed this idea, we have proved that it works, and we have patented just now this, and now we want to continue to develop this idea. The next step will be, once we have validated the targeting, we want to load the drug that is normally used, the chemotherapeutic that is normally used to treat pancreatic cancer, and to bring it to the tumor tissue. For that, we have the support of the company that is manufacturing the drug, and also we also perform this work in collaboration with the IMIN and the Hospital Ramón y Cajal in Madrid. So this is a big project. We are really happy to develop it because it's very interesting, and we are getting nice results on that. And so this is the second line, more translational line that we are developing here. This nanomedicine for pancreatic cancer. I have to say also that this marker is not only, but this is more for the future. This marker is not only expressed in the pancreatic tumor, it's also associated to other type of tumors. So once we validate the technology, the preclinical ones, we perform the preclinical validation of the technology in pancreatic cancer, we can extrapolate this technology to other tumors and see how they respond. So how the pandemic affect our research activities? But here, I think it was a bit chaotic, like for all of us at different levels. But at the beginning in March, no one knew how to react. So it was a bit chaotic at the beginning. We weren't prepared at any level here, from the state to the comunidades autónomas, to the institution, so to the lab. So at any level, we were prepared to this situation. So how it was affected, I don't want to say bad because we are all healthy and okay here, but it changed our. Of course, it was we had to stop working, although at least the PRBB was open, but the activities were were brought to the minimum. So only what was considered essential was kept. So research was considered essential. So in principle, we could work, but no one. We could not. We were only allowed to continue with experiments that were already running and that were critical. We could not begin with new experiments. So during the first lockdown, or during the lockdown actually, from March to June, our activity was stopped. We could work. I was working. I could work still on applying for grants and of course publications and other teaching and other activities. I could do it, and we have to change our mind and our organization. We have to reorganize. For example, with the teaching, we have to reorganize everything, but we could work in this regard. But the research activity were blocked because we could not order. We could not, if there were students coming from abroad, it was all blocked. Collaborations, they were all blocked. So the research activity was suffering a lot because we could not work a lot. We could not do in the lab. It was almost impossible to work. This is bad in research because I must say that if you lose that time, it was not recovered afterwards. So many projects are very focused on a specific objective, and the time is very short. So losing that time is really regrettable for the progress of a project. Also for the people, because when you don't know, some people get afraid of the situation. There was this uncertainty on how to proceed, on what to do, how to behave. So it was a difficult situation because in the lab you could not work properly because nothing was working, the delivery orders and different things, and also from the personal view. I don't think we have recovered so far from that lockdown, because it affected the motivation of many students, PhD and postdocs, and to us as well. So mentally, I think it was a hard phase to all of us, to hard period of time. Concerning I have a big concern on the strategy followed by the government on how public funding is going to be performed since the pandemic began, because when the pandemic began, many projects were focused on solving COVID, either on diagnosis or treating, or how to treat, how to improve the treatment of this disease, and many other diseases were completely forgotten. So I was very afraid that the budget designated to some courses that were on cancer or minority disease or on other topics that this budget was deviated or was moved toward funding COVID-related research. And nowadays I still have this fear on how this pandemic has affected the funding opportunities for researchers. Also considering the fact that the government has not increased the budget dedicated to research in Spain, although it is obvious that it is required to increase this amount, that we are one of the countries with the lowest investment in research. I'm not sure if I should be saying that.